Good morning and happy Wednesday. It's February 19th. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. North Texas is under an extreme cold warning today, which is expected to last through tomorrow morning. Bundle up before you leave the house because it's going to be cold and windy today, with temperatures dropping well below freezing, with wind chill as low as -12. We'll see highs as high as 30 degrees and the lows dropping to about 15 degrees overnight. Stay safe out there, y'all. Still ahead on the show, high-profile murders allegedly committed by people out on bond are motivating Texas lawmakers to tighten bail restrictions. 3 bills on the issue are quickly making their way through the state legislature, but some are worried the legislation will make it even harder to balance public safety and constitutional rights. But before that, let's get into the news. The Dallas City Council will soon consider supporting full funding for Dallas area rapid transit. It comes as the agency fights efforts by suburban cities to defund it. Yesterday, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee advanced the symbolic resolution to be discussed by the full council. The resolution will help DART's case if legislation to defund the agency gets filed in Austin. An Asian fusion restaurant in downtown Dallas is partnering with Booker T. Washington students for a new project. Musume has crafted a special menu of dishes that students will illustrate. 10% of dinner sales will go back to the school's arts program. Changes to the state's bail laws are a top issue in the Texas legislature this session. Setting bail is meant to ensure people accused of crimes will return for future court dates. A judge may set a high bail or outright deny bail to keep the person behind bars for the safety of others. As KERA's Tolawani Osibamawo reports, some are worried about how tougher bail restrictions could affect the balance between keeping communities safe and a person's right to a reasonable bail.
Last year, 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare was murdered in Houston. The case made headlines since the 2 men accused of killing her crossed the border illegally. Her mom, Alexis Nungare, went to their bond hearings.
I feel like it was a slap in the face to Jocelyn and our family to even have to make sure that they got an adequate bond.
That's Nungare testifying last week before a panel of Texas senators. The group also heard from Anthony Graves. Graves was exonerated after spending 16 years on death row for murder. He told lawmakers he spent over 2 years in jail with no bond before his wrongful conviction.
This denial of freedom was predicated on falsehoods and resulted in the loss of precious years of my life while I awaited trial.
Nungare and Graves represent 2 very different sides of the bail debate that often seem at odds. Liesl Pettis studies criminal and civil justice policy at the R Street Institute.
It's not just, is it helping with fairness, which is super important, or is it helping with public safety, which is super important. It's kind of, is it doing the best it can at all those things at the same time.
When advocates talk about bail reform, they're usually referring to efforts to make the bail process more equitable. Things like eliminating the use of cash bail because of concerns the practice keeps people who can't pay behind bars. But Texas leaders like Governor Greg Abbott say the state should afford less lenience for those accused of crimes, period.
Lawmakers must choose.
Here's Abbott during his State of the State.
Support the safety of the citizens they represent or the criminals who kill them.
Right now, 3 proposals are advancing in the Senate. One bill would expand the list of offenses where judges can't release someone on cashless bail. That includes making terroristic threats or unlawfully owning a firearm. A proposed constitutional amendment would require judges to deny bail to immigrants without legal status charged with a felony. Another amendment would let judges deny bail to people charged with certain violent offenses and first-degree sexual felonies. But criminal justice advocates say expanding the ways judges can or must deny people bail isn't a good idea. Aaron Johnson is with the Texas Association of Pretrial Services.
When are we going to have a serious discussion about actually identifying people who are safety risks to the community versus people who we just don't know what else to do with? And so jail becomes that holding place for these individuals.
That's important because according to the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, more than 70% of people in Texas jails last year were awaiting trial. Opponents also worry these changes could grow the state's jail population beyond capacity. Stephen Huerta is with the civil rights group All of Us or None Texas.
It expands government power, increases taxpayers' costs, and takes away from the local judiciary. It creates a system where wealth determines freedom, not fairness or safety.
Another common concern is that the presumption of innocence gets lost in these conversations. The R Institute's Liesl Pettis says even among lawmakers, there's a misunderstanding about how bail works and who the system affects. And she says more than you'd think, it affects people who generally follow the law.
A lot of people through the system are first-time offenders who we may never see again. So you'll have a small group of people who are repeat offenders who commit a great deal of crime. But a lot of people going through the system are not those people.
In past sessions, bills proposing similar changes have failed. But after the 2024 election, the Texas legislature's makeup is different, especially in the House. This year, state leaders believe they have the votes to get these bail reform bills passed.
That was KERA's Tolawani Osibamawo reporting. As the Dallas Wings get ready to start their season, they've found a new broadcasting home for their games. If you can't make it to College Park Center in Arlington to watch Wings games in person, now you'll be able to tune into KFAA Channel 29 to watch from home. If you're willing to brave all the cold out there, head to Alamo Draft House in Las Colinas this evening for a showing of The Nutty Professor starring Eddie Murphy. Your laughter's sure to warm you right up. For more information and some other fun things to do, visit KERA.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit KERA.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and get good morning vibes from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow.